see a spell, you're staring back at me.
Welcome to Big Fight Weekly's Fighter Focus Special with Linton, the Swarm, Vassell. He is number 4 ranked heavyweight contender in Bellator. And give yourself a round of applause for UK's own Linton, Vassell.
How you doing?
I am not too bad, and the sky looks absolutely fantastic over there.
Just in Florida now, just loving up the weather. Before I head off tomorrow.
I want to first and foremost apologise for the time differences. I got that completely wrong, so I have to, put my hands out and apologise for getting the times wrong with you before. So I do apologise.
Yeah, it happens. It's all good. It's all good. It's funny because I was getting a massage, and Dom was calling me, and I was like, "Why is Dom calling?"
He's my
and
enforcer.
then he sent a message saying that you're waiting for me. I'm like, "No, we've arranged for like 3:15." But
I blame Google. It sent me into a spiral.
Don't listen to Google. Google's good, but also it messes you up.
It lies.
It
I'm not going to believe it ever again.
It lied.
So how is life in Florida? So you're from the Milton Keynes. You know the typical English weather, the miserable and the rain, and sometimes we get the sun as you're getting currently. How is it over there? Comparison to it would be over.
Well, you can see, right?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
You can see, so it's life's good here. The weather's good, training's good. Yeah, all is well. I don't miss the UK weather.
No, I don't blame you.
But yeah, life's good here. It's nice and hot.
Before I jump into when we talk about you versus Tim Johnson, I want to sort of dip into last night's UFC because you had 2 teammates on the card in UFC. And
had three altogether.
Did you? Okay, you had 3. I'm going to sort of pinpost Ian Gary because I watched him through Cage Warriors and love the bones of the guy. I want to get your take on him. Also, I want to get your take on Gilbert Burns versus Hazmat Shemaev and how that fight planned out. And did you watch it? And how did you feel with how Gilbert did? So we'll start with Ian Gary. And how did you think he did for his second bout in the UFC?
He did good. I felt like he slowly opened up in the second and third round. Maybe a little bit slow in the first, but he soon opened up, and then he was soon on his feet and jabbing the guy, using his footwork and his distance very well. So again, another great second fight for the UFC for Ian, young prospect, the future as he's called. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. Very talented.
Yeah, I've watched him through Cage Warriors, and when I watched Dorian Weeks and he was pressuring Ian Gary, and I thought, Ian Gary's his style's really good when someone comes to pressure him because he's very good with his strikes and his accuracy.
Great footwork.
Yeah, fantastic because he's in and out and he dips a lot.
Yeah,
it makes you pay, and he made Dorian Weeks pay in the third round with a hook, which he's very good for the hook.
Yeah, and some head kicks, led some good head kicks as well.
Very quick.
Right,
with his head
very
kicks.
quick legs. I know. Yeah,
hides them really well. But it's good to see, and I've seen people thinking, "Oh, is he overhyped because he didn't finish Dorian Weeks?" I think people understand that Dorian Weeks has got a durable chin, and he's a wrestler also. You know what I mean? And Ian Gary stuffed all the takedowns. He stopped it all.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't like when people say, "I didn't finish him." Like, I don't know. Unless you actually do fight, you can't really be saying that because obviously the outcome is to try and finish people, but they're there to try and finish you as well. They're trained just like you. If you finish them, then obviously it's the bonus. It's even better. But yeah, don't get me wrong. Everyone tries to go and finish people. So like when people are like, "Oh, I didn't finish him, maybe he's not that good." That's you can't be saying that, man. That's some disrespect. That's the way I feel anyway.
No, I totally agree because
not you, but when people
No, I get what you mean.
You, Chris.
No, it's you. It's you.
Yeah.
I want to obviously we'll get to Gilbert Burns because that fight's a very big highlight of UFC last night. But stick to Ian Gary at the moment. Obviously people look at a comparison to Conor, and that's because he's Irish. And, obviously that's the natural thing, and people will sort of progress to that. I don't see him like Conor McGregor. He's completely different to Conor McGregor.
Oh, yeah, two different styles, Again, it's just because he's Irish and Conor's Irish, then it's nothing like him, you know what I mean? He's funny and a joker, but he's not like Conor at all, I don't know Conor, but what I see on TV, it's nothing like him.
Well, I've met Conor a few times. Was nice originally in Cage Warriors, but as he built himself up in the UFC, I got the brush and got told to go away. But it is what it is. That's what fame does to you, I guess.
I know,
We'll drop Ian Garry because it was a fantastic win for him, and long he can get up that ladder and keep going what he's doing. Let's get on to your other teammate, Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev, because a barn burner. A lot of people looked at that fight and thought Khamzat Chimaev, and I thought myself as well. I'm not discounting Gilbert, but I just thought because seeing what Chimaev was like, but also didn't know what he was like in a longer ratio of a fight.
Yep.
Gilbert Burns was fantastic. He was very unlucky that he probably gassed out in the third round, and he put a lot of effort into the second round.
Yeah,
he clipped Chimaev, and he's put a lot of doubt into Chimaev now.
Of course.
Is he ready for Usman? Is he ready for Kobe Covington? I know a lot of people say about is he ready for middleweight? But let's forget Izzy and all that. Let's focus the fight with Gilbert had with Chimaev. Fantastic showing. Gilbert will fight anybody, anywhere, anyway. Yeah. Not in, he's not bothered, and he brought it, and it was exciting.
Yeah,
he made more of a fan of myself watching him.
Yeah, I feel you. I say Gilbert doesn't care who you are, how big you are, how small you are. He'll fight you, and it very was unlucky. I actually had Gilbert winning. I felt he won the second round, and then. He was very close third, but he ended very strong in the third round. So that's why I'd give it to him, But anyway, he didn't get the win. He got the bonuses though, so I'm happy for him to get the bonuses. And he'll be back. And Chimaev showed people, that he can hang in there with the tops. So I think he obviously proved, he can hang in there. But we'll see how he holds up with these other. Obviously welterweights.
Interesting for him, but I'm a big fan of Gilbert. I lived my life with jiu-jitsu. My love with MMA didn't start with traditional. Everyone goes for the punches and the kicks and the excitement of that. I love jiu-jitsu, and it was the chess match of jiu-jitsu, and watch everyone from Gracie's, from the ADCs, and and it's hard. Obviously, yourself in the UK to find anything other than mixed martial arts, so you have to legally stream these things to watch them. And I love the Eddie Bravo Invitationals just to watch these guys because it intrigues me, jiu-jitsu. Everything about it, it's not blood and thunder. It is a chess match. I move here, you move here. You make a mistake, and it's a click, and I'm on it. And I loved about Gilbert Burns that, and you saw in a fight that as much as Chimaev is a very, very talented wrestler, sambo sort of guy, he wasn't willing to really go to deep waters with Gilbert Burns.
No, he didn't at all. He didn't seem like he wanted to grapple at all with him. And I thought it might be a little bit of a grappling match, but it wasn't. And that shows you how good Gilbert is and how much respect, I guess, Chimaev had for Gilbert's ground game. I felt like if Gilbert would have took him down, maybe would have finished him, but it probably would have been a definite win for Gilbert if he was able to take him down. But again, it is what it is. Gilbert will be back, and if anything, he gained more fans in that fight than anything.
I think I totally agree with you. I think that really galvanizes Gilbert Burns, that he's just taken this hype train on, and he's collision caused it. And he's got people now thinking different about Chimaev, which I don't think that people were going into the fight thinking that would be the case.
Probably, as he was such as Gilbert was such an underdog. Obviously, probably people thought, Chimaev would run through him, but that's not the case.
No.
You don't run through Gilbert. Don't happen.
I'm impressed with Gilbert. I think, he's grown a lot, and I've seen him through 155 going up to 170.
Yeah.
I was just the only thing I worried about wasn't the skill set with Chimaev. I think it was just that Chimaev is naturally bigger than Gilbert. That was my worry. But he proved me completely wrong. I sat in my bedroom this morning because I didn't stay up for it. I'm too old for it with 3 kids now, you see, Linton. I can't stay up any longer. So I'm really impressed. I think, like I said, he's made more of a fan than I've ever been with Gilbert watching that.
Right.
But we'll side part now. We'll forget UFC because, that's UFC. Let's think about yourself going forward this Friday against Tim Johnson.
Yeah.
How do you feel as a fighter? Not as a fighter because you are a fighter, but going into a massive fight for you because you've got 3 on the bounce. You're on a 3-fight winning streak, close to Ryan Bader, close to getting that revenge. And I rewatched your fight with Ryan Bader today, and I don't think he did that much, and I don't like the stoppage. And I said this to Dom before you came on, and I was like, I wasn't impressed that you were stopped that early because I didn't think you were taking shots, but it wasn't that much danger of stoppage.
I know. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's happened now, but that there, obviously, for me, revenge is sweet, man. So I've got unfinished business regardless with that guy. I didn't perform like I usually do in that fight. That's how I feel. But he got the win regardless. But I feel amazing. Heavyweight is my division.
You look at
long. I was at light heavyweight. I did well. I got 2 title fights. Didn't win them though, but I did well in light heavyweight. But now I found the real weight class that I should be at, and 3 big wins. Get this 4th win. I'm not looking past him, but confident I'm gonna beat him, and then looking for that world title next. But Tim's a big strong bear, as he's called, the bear. So I just got to be ready and put this bear down, which I am 100% ready to go.
These lessons, and I learned this from Don, and I'm not going to say losses because they're lessons, aren't they? Now, this is what he's always told me, because Don I look to, he's been my idol, so he coached me into these sort of things. And I'm going to go with what Don says. It's lessons. So the lessons you've learned from Ryan Bader, and you've learned from the Phil Davis's losses, because you know, 2 big guys, you've done fantastic. So we're going into against Ronnie Marks. We're looking into these sort of fights that you've had. And Ronnie Marks, everyone's thinking, oh, jiu-jitsu guys. So what's Linton going to do here? You did fantastic. You took us back. Yeah. And you took control. Yeah. And it's the weight you have and those hammer fists. And you just laid it all on him.
Elbow.
Straight up and down.
A lot of heavyweights and fighters don't use. They don't use all their tools. You know what I mean? It's mixed martial arts. Take them down if you can, or ground and pound them. Submission, same as Tyrell Fortune.
That impressed me. I was going to come on to Tyrell Fortune. That impresses me because
everyone was, how are you going to handle him? Well, I'm going to take him down. I'm a grappler too. Just because he's a wrestler doesn't mean I can't grapple with him.
You're from the UK. You're not allowed to do that.
And exactly. So you know what's so much sweeter when I tell people I can do it and I do it. So that's what's so much sweeter than, I shut all them doubters up.
But I love that. That's what I think is like, as UK guys, and you've watched it for the years, any fighters that came on to say for UFC, for example, because everyone would probably more know that than Bellator at the moment, but they all come in and they're all bangers, but couldn't stuff a takedown. When they got taken down, that was it then. You knew that it was game over. Yeah. But and I watched you against Ryan Bader. Yeah, but you were still willing to go against a guy who's a collegiate wrestler like their Fortune. You were still going for these guys, and I'm like, I love it because people don't see this from the UK guys. They think we're just bangers and we've got good strikes and we've got some good leg kicks, but we haven't got no takedown.
Yeah, and no grappling skills.
That's it. That's it. And it's a change now, and that's what I love about it. And I look at, say, UFC London, just for the amount of UK guys we had, and it wasn't just London UK. It was Wales, it was Scotland. Yeah. People are seeing different things now coming through the UK. We're not just strikers anymore. Yeah. We've got everything. And this is what I love about it. And this is probably maybe why I'm a bit biased, because I just love to see it. I grew up on Cage Warriors. I watched Cage Warriors.
Cage was the show, man, back in the day.
Yeah, you fought on Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
And
only the one time though, but yeah, I did fight on Cage Warriors.
You got to have one step in Cage Warriors, haven't you? I loved it, and I love seeing you against this Tyrell Fortune, who obviously I don't know much about, because obviously in the UK we don't get the sort of college collegiate wrestling sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yourself, we don't do that in our schools. You play tip, maybe. That's probably the biggest thing you can get. But you took him down and you did it well. And I was so happy to see that, because it's like, now you're seeing that UK guys, we're not just fighters, like strikers. We're not just ordinary guys anymore. We learn everything, and we're coming to shock you. That's why I'm very impressed.
Thank you. You have to learn it all. You can't be a one-trick pony.
No, definitely not. And some fighters are one-trick ponies.
But it's mixed martial arts, so mix it up.
And you're good at that, though. You mix everything up, and people think you're going to strike, and then you take them down. But you go into heavyweight now. You've got more mass on you. You've got everything you want to be, because as we spoke on the phone, you were light heavyweight, and it killed you to get to light heavyweight to 205. But now you've got that freedom to be who you want. You're not sacrificing anymore.
Yeah.
You're being Linton Vassell. I don't have to do that. I be me now. And I can let go of everything, and I'm really put it on the guys who's standing in front of me. And you impressed me. You and Mcguire really impressed me. And I spoke to you on the phone about Bellator just getting on BBC over here in the UK, which is unfortunate that it's only now. But, it's good that you've got something over here in the UK that people can see you. And it's not, people aren't just looking at UFC guys, they're looking at Bellator guys. PFL have just signed a deal with Channel 4 as well over here in the UK.
Okay.
So more eyes for you guys. Because it frustrates me when people talk about UFC. And I'm like, well, it's not just UFC. There's more people out there. You just need to look. But obviously some people just don't. They just naturally, they look at UFC like it's the Premier League, don't they? And that's where they go.
That is annoying. Everyone just thinks that's all there is. It's just UFC. There's other promotions, a lot of other promotions that are real good as well.
And you guys are impressive. We had Mcguire on a couple of months ago, but we had him on last year. And I said to him about becoming the light heavyweight champion in Bellator. Why didn't you get the publicity?
Yeah.
You're the first UK guy to go over there.
Yeah, didn't get nothing.
And I sat there and because Liam's very coy and he's very good and he's like, oh, it is what it is. I'm like, it's not good enough in my eyes. You should be like where Michael Bisping was.
No, it's true. I totally agree.
And I hope when, you get through Tim Johnson, and I think you get through Tim Johnson, I think you've got enough ground game to split everything he can throw at you. And I think you beat him up on the ground. I think you finish him on the ground like you've done previously.
I do.
And I've seen Tim Johnson for UFC, and he wasn't bad in UFC. It's just unlucky he didn't get kept on, but he's had some good wings. Okay, yeah, he's fought Fedor, and Fedor's just sort of, he's a statue of fucking legend. You know what I mean? That guy's a guy who, everyone loves. But I think you've got the skill set to go in there and do what you want with Tim Johnson. And I don't think you need another fight after that. Yes, I think Fedor's last fight may be something you maybe entertain. But if you can get Ryan Bader over Fedor, I'm sure.
That's the thing, man. Like, I want that world title, but also to fight Fedor would be amazing as well. So, we'll come to that obviously. When it happens, but
of course.
But who doesn't want to be world? Who doesn't want to be world champion, and who doesn't want to fight Fedor? A legend.
Let's got a good scenario here. You could have. Let's think of it as an example. Say you beat Tim Johnson. I'm not going to say actually. I think you will beat Tim Johnson. And again, I'm biased because you're a UK guy and I want you to win. Yes, of course. You beat Tim Johnson. Let's get you Fedor. You can beat Fedor's last fight, no matter where it is, and then fight Ryan Bader after he's fought Jet Congo, who also is another teammate of yourself. Brilliant. And then you can get revenge on Ryan Bader, and then you can hold that British UK flag with that title. And I will push it. I'll get on my social networks. I don't care how small or big I am, and I'll throw it out there because people need to see our guys winning titles and getting the publicity they should deserve.
Yeah, I hear you. I appreciate that.
But I've got something else for you. I'll call it a treat for you, Linton.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pop it in now for you. See how you feel.
What you got? Hey, what's going on?
What's on, man? Don't make me take my shirt off.
Go on.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. All good.
Man, I've been worse for wears, man. You know,
How are you?
it's been a bad year, as you know, but you know, I'm getting back, you know, and slowly, and I appreciate you coming on my friend's show. You know, they're really good guys. I have to agree with them that, you know, the problem is you guys have never really got the stories told about you, the success. That's why I've clung to you and Liam for so long, because, you know, I've seen the true talent. I remember when you and I were having a conversation and we were talking about, you know, I heard you guys talk about it a little bit earlier about the cut to light heavyweight. And me and you talked about, you know, you going to heavyweight. And then I remember interviewing you and we talked about how good cheesecake was, you know, but it doesn't look like you're.
I love cheesecake.
So you want to eat cheesecake when it was especially cutting weight.
But it doesn't look like you're eating cheesecake now, man. You probably look like you're in the best peak performance I've ever seen you in, Linton. What has you in? I mean, because obviously you've done something. You've bulked down quite a bit. You're still muscular, but I noticed in your, you know, really what the last fight. I'll be honest with you. The last fight I watched was the Sergey Karatnov fight, and you destroyed him, bro. And his record's a lot better than Tim Johnson's. You know, Tim Johnson doesn't even have half the skill set or mindset. And, you know, I have to agree with Chris. I think you're going to do, you're just going to walk right through him, mate. You know, the thing of it is.
I feel good, feel confident, feel good. I feel like I've just stayed the same in the fact, still training, but just been a little bit more smarter. Rather than, you know, keep pushing my body to the limit, then, I'm a bit tired today. Take today off, hit tomorrow hard. Or take 2 days off if you need it, hit the next 2 days hard. Rather than every day hard. Burn yourself out. Before you know it, you're sick. And especially when you're cutting weight as well, it's like, I can't be doing this anymore. I'm getting sick. I'm getting injured. Because I'm trying to, every day is trying to be hard. But no, you can go in the gym and just drill if need be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sparring day, but maybe your body's a little bit too banged up today. Maybe just go in and you know, do 2 rounds instead of 5 or whatever, or 5-minute rounds, do 3 minutes. You know, and I felt like keep doing that, keep staying on top of my obviously physical health and well-being, and you know what I mean. I feel like I'm in my best shape, as you said. I feel like I'm in my best. The mindset's good, just good to go.
Yeah. You know, I wasn't even going to be on today's show, and, you know, it's really my fault because of the time scheduling and everything. But, you know,
it's not your fault. What you want about? It's nothing to do with it. It's my fault. I blame Google, and I got it all wrong. It's just one of them. You know, I mean, there's so many time zones to sort of piece together. Where, you know, you think, right, it's 9 o'clock here in the UK. I won't be that far behind someone else. You know, it's one of them. And, you know, again, I apologize to you, Linton, for making that sort of boo-boo, but it's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, I'm going to have to shoot, boys, because I've got, obviously, fight week, and I've got a lot of things to do.
Yes.
Right now.
Hey, let me get a couple more questions. Let us get a couple more questions. Hey, can we get a couple more, Len? Can we get 2 more questions out of you, bro?
Okay.
I just want to know what your thoughts are going into the Tim Johnson fight. But before you answer me that question, you know, not Chris, you don't even know this. Linton has you call it his friends and his fight family, but it's really the squad. You know, how much has the squad meant to you moving forward into this Tim Johnson fight?
Oh, without the squad, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the level I am, winning these fights. Without these people every day, day in, day out, pushing me, taking me to that next level, I'd probably be retired. You know, or probably be another promotion. Yeah. These guys train just as hard as me, if not more. I need them just as much as they need me. So that's why they're my squad. They're my family. I need them just like they need me.
Yes. And if you look at my name, I went ahead and showed your family some love.
I was going to say, I saw that.
He asked me this before, and he's like, "Shall I put it?" I was like, "Yes, go for it, go for it."
But
Yeah.
I don't want to steal Chris's light. I just want to let if you let Chris ask one or two more questions, mate. I really appreciate it. I wish you
Yeah,
the best
of
of luck this week for Bellator. And absolutely right, man. You need to get more success out there, more in the UK. And I've got great friends like this, so it was an honor for me to have you on their show. It's a privilege because I'm worldwide, and I like sharing people with everybody. And a lot of times, people nowadays they think, oh well, if you share somebody, there's got to be something behind it. No, there's not. It's just if everybody was to come together and we all ate at the same table, the world would be a much better place if we all shared each other and grew together. Right. And that was the whole intensive purpose. And that's why I told him, I said, I'll get Linton on your show because I love the show and he's a great interviewer. But I'm going to go ahead and let him ask you one or two more questions. I'm going to dip out here, but I'm going to let him ask you one or two more questions. But thank you, mate. Good luck. Go do it. And like I said, don't make me take my shirt off, bro. I love you, mate. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Right. Take care, mate.
Take me out, Chris.
Yes, I shall. Thanks very much, Don. We appreciate you for everything.
All right. Peace.
Right, I'll give it to one because obviously it is fight week. I won't give you any more than what have you. What would it mean to you beating Tim Johnson this weekend? What in your mindset? What does it bring, and what gives you the future for Linton Vassell?
I mean, it's hard to explain because it's a different feeling when you've put so much into doing what you do, like training every day, move country, and sacrifice so much. It's such a weird feeling, but it would. The only way I can say it is it just mean the world. That's the only way you can really explain how good winning and obviously going one step closer to something you've been yearning for. Obviously, I want to be a world champion. That's what I'm doing it for. The money's great, but I want to be a world champion.
Of course.
So yeah, it's an amazing feeling just to know you've put all that time in and you're one step closer to getting it. You're like this close. You're this close. So yeah, that's the best way to explain. The feeling. It's like Christmas.
I don't know. Yeah, as I say, as you're young, it gets older when you've got kids yourself.
That's what I say when you're older. Like,
yeah.
Oh, bloody yeah! I don't want to.
You hate it more.
Buy any more presents.
Yeah. Listen, I'll let you go, but I'd love to get you back on the show afterwards, after you fought Tim Johnson, and we can have a proper deep dive, a bit longer, have a good conversation. But good luck on Friday. I will be watching. I'm just knock the fucker out.
That's what I'm going to do, mate.
Thank you very much for everything.
Appreciate it.
And take care.
Take care, bro.
See you later.
All right, easy.
See you later. Dom, just before you go, I got to thank you a lot for getting this interview in. And I appreciate everything you've done for me. You helped me with this interview. We spoke twice, the amount of times we've known each other. We've had quite, a good hours over conversation. But, I appreciate you because I look up to you. I listen to what you say to fighters, and it gives me such inspiration to carry on doing this.
Yeah. Well, I look at you as a young me. We all got to start somewhere. And honestly, I wouldn't have got out of bed for anybody. Right now I'm sick. I haven't been doing very well this last year. But, the thing of it is, it's like, I watched your show. I came across your show by chance when Liam was on. And what I saw was a show that was tremendous. Two gentlemen correlated very well together. It was a really, really good show. And so, I just watched it. I usually don't watch very many shows because, just like with fights, people think I watch fights all the time, but I don't, because I've shot fights for 37 years of my life and I've done radio for 19 years of my life. So it's like, if it's a teammate or if it's a buddy or someone like Linton, of course I'm going to tune in for their fight, but I'm not going to sit from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight, watching a UFC card. And you brought up a very good point. And he topped it off. The UFC is just a promotion. Everybody thinks that it's the pinnacle of the sport. It's not the freaking pinnacle of the sport. It's just another promotion with a little bit bigger of a wallet. I mean, you look at Michael Chandler. He came from Bellator, came into the UFC, starched his first few opponents.
Yeah, Dan Hooker, yeah.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, you got well, before he got too old to fight, you had Rickles, you had Chandler, you had Syed Awad. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on. You had fighters that have never had to fight in the UFC, so it was surprising to me that, Bellator is just now coming on BBC in the UK because, I mean, honestly, man, I watch more Bellator than I do the UFC, to be quite honest with you. I prefer Bellator compared to the UFC. And a lot of people say, well, you shot for them. You were just offered a lifetime achievement award and being inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. But Hall of Fames don't feed you, awards don't feed you, and the thing of it is, it's like, I've got other avenues and I'm working, like this Saturday, I got a seminar with Joe Daddy Stevenson in Webb City, Missouri. And then that night, my own, I'm partners in a promotion. We got a promotion that's going to be this Saturday night. So Saturday's going to be slammed for me. I mean, like I said, I'm still sick. I'm going to be worse for wears. But the thing of it is I got Joe Daddy coming from California. He's going to do a 3-hour seminar with the Air Force, which is tremendous. And then I got to hurry up and drive him back an hour to the venue so he can judge for me that night on the scorecards. So but this is the business. I got into this business 37 years ago. I was making 6 figures in the late 80s. And my wife told me, go live my dream. And I said, but my dream doesn't pay. And I started shooting, doing photography. And then eventually I started doing radio shows. And I got very big on the syndicated circuit. I was number 4 demographically worldwide. I know I'll never catch Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan, nobody will ever catch Joe Rogan. But here's the most important part that most people don't realize. You look at Joe Rogan, you look at Ariel Helwani, you look at the Kid and I. They all have corporate sponsors. They all have corporate backing. They have a wallet this freaking big. I'm organic. And I became the 5th ranked show demographically in the world, doing it just with whatever I could put into the show. I did have a sponsor pay for my syndicated show for quite a while, but then the pandemic hit. So I had to cover all my costs because nobody was working. So it's like, I mean, the show continues to grow. It continues to do things, but I'm like you. I like branching out, and, I heard you talking with Linton about possibly having to bring, somebody else on the show, depending on my health. I mean, I would like to do a show with you. We could do a cross-generated, across the pond show and create different things.
I'd love to do that with you.
See, people, it's weird. Like with my show, I love your interviewing style because we're a lot along the same lines.
Appreciate it.
But a lot of people they don't understand real. It took me 3 years for the real aspect of a show, because everybody always wants this, hidden agenda bull crap, or, throw the fighter under the bus. And I love the way you did that on that lesson. That's truly what it is. You see, a fighter looks at it differently. Mm-hmm. If you come at them and you say, well, you lost, well, that's kind of leaves them in a disgruntled aspect. But if you say you were taught a lesson, what did you learn from that lesson? Now you see how much of a difference in the response that you get from a fighter. And that's what's tremendous. And even though I did chew Linton out because I thought he was late too, but hey, we all live and learn. But the thing of it is, he came on, he gave you more than he gave you more time than he said he was originally going to give you.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, the correlation between you two, I'm going to get some more fighters, hooked up with you, because I think your show is fantastic. And
thank you very much.
Honestly, Linton seemed like he was in heaven, bro. It must feel nice for, because I was the only foreigner on today's show. Really, I mean, if you think about it, I was the foreigner on today's show, and that's how Linton feels when he comes on shows here in the United States. Like, he's the foreigner coming against the American fighter, and he doesn't necessarily feel that he's going to get the fair shake on that. Mm-hmm. Well, you and I both know that I played a major role in Linton going up to heavyweight from light heavyweight. It was just, I mean, I've been in Liam McGuire's life for over a decade. I've been in Linton's just as much, probably the same, and you get a relationship. That's why I put Vassell Beauty and Care. My actual name is Don Mcguire, and
yes,
but I sponsored his family. If you're over in the UK, go to Vassell Beauty and Care and just mention my name, and they'll give you 30% off.
In Milton Keynes.
Yeah, and they'll give you 30% off. I mean, only thing I didn't give Linton a bad time about is I always asked him, did he get a mani and a pedi before his fight? Because he always does. And then, man, one time I teased him because he gets his eyebrows tweezed too. And there's no.
My co-host there, Don.
Hey, what's up, Stu? But, I always give fighters crap, man. You always got to make the show fun. You always got to add. I mean, yeah, do I get some of the greater fighters now? But yeah, but it took me 19 years, and I've only been doing video for maybe 11, 12 months, say, something like that.
Yeah.
The rest of it was all, if you go on Google, if you search The Fighter's Voice with Don Mcguire, you'll find the syndicated version. And you could probably listen to the rest of your life. I mean, there's probably close to 20,000 episodes on there. So, I mean, there's even like my 500th episode was a 6-hour show. I had Pat Miletich. I had everybody on. I had nothing but legends for 6 hours. But see, my show's a long formatted show like yours. My show, it ends when it ends. And a lot of times, like I get guests like Linton and other people that say, "Hey, man, I can give you 15 minutes. I can give you 20 minutes." But then next thing you know, an hour and a half later, you're still on the show. Yeah. And so I just let it end when it's going to end because, it's like you can strike a good conversation and it just grows. And then the time they forget about the time. But see, I also like to do another thing. I like to show the side of a fighter that nobody gets to see. Because when I do my show, I want people to see what they don't see on Wikipedia, what they don't see on television, what they can't find on social media. I want to give them a side that they don't know. Like, the story, but it was like, Todd Medina El Tiburon, he fought in UFC 3, 4, 6, and 8, something like that. And he fought no hold barred before that. And he talked about he was giving his daughter a bath and he went to dry her off and she passed away in his arms. When you think about stories like that, fighters forget that they're in an interview. And so my show is basically a phone call with thousands of people listening in on our phone call. And that's the best way to do it because a fighter will forget that they're on an interview.
You've done so much though for the sport, not just being a photographer. You've met all walks of life. You've given, myself an opportunity, to speak to fighters that, I message and I don't get no replies from. You give me that opportunity. That means the world to me and Stuart as well. It means the world to us that, there's people out there that aren't selfish and are willing to give back to people of the smaller shows who, that just want to have their opinions with fighters and have that conversation with them. And, it's not just about just watching you fight, but I want to get to know you. I want to know you as a person. It's not just about knocking a guy out or submitting a guy out. Yeah. I want to know who you are. That's what impresses me about people.
Well, the reason I'm the way I am, a lot of people think there's like a hidden agenda. There's no hidden agenda behind what I do. I'm just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. I treat everybody how I want to be treated. Do I give guests to every show? No. Do I like a lot of shows? No. There's very few shows that I like, but the shows, people like you and your mutual host, you guys, you're cousins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate your show, so I'm gonna bend over backwards to help because you're the future. See, people don't realize that I'm almost 60 years old, bro. I mean, I've been in the sport more than half my life, and so it's like I'm not going to be around that much longer. So what I see in you is a young me, and so what I want to do is be able to give you the ability to do what I do, get the guests that I do, be able to have the shows that I do, and you're the future. You and your mutual host, you're the future. And that's why it's like I shared this, this interview on a bunch of pages. I've shared other interviews. I think you guys got a great format. It's sad that your mutual host is going to be leaving in July. I wish he would change his mind. But, the thing of it is what you guys are doing needs to be done in the UK. There's not very many shows that I've seen from the UK that have the quality. And, if you just, like I said, I would rather have quality over quantity anyway. And that's what makes a show. And yeah, I do have Matt Hughes, I do have Kenny Johnson, I have everybody, on my show, but I don't look at them as the sport does. They're just my brothers. These are guys that I grew up with. These are guys that I grew up in the sport with. And I'm very fortunate because I get opportunities like that. But since I was given the opportunity, why shouldn't I give people that are working as hard as you and your mutual host? Why shouldn't I give you an opportunity? See, that's the thing. We talked about the UFC Hall of Fame, me turning it down. Hall of Fame hasn't paid squat, hasn't put any money in my pocket. I'm already a 2-time Hall of Fame inductee. It doesn't mean nothing to me. What means something to me is being able to give a guest one of the greatest interviews they ever had. Like I told you, I don't care if I get a like, a share, as long as I know that my guest walks away getting the best interview possible. That's really all that matters.
And you bang on there. That's the sort of legacy that I myself want to sort of give doing something like this. Stuart, who was my co-host, it was the guy that pushed me to do this, because usually I'm the guy that I watch it and then people would send me messages going, Chris, what did you think? What did you think? And I'd be like, such, and I'm not really getting my voice out there because I don't know. I wasn't that I was scared or I was worried about what people would say, because I don't give a shit what people say. I was brought up with my mum as a Scouser, and she always taught me is you say it how it is, and don't worry about what anyone else says about you. You just keep going the way you are, and I have always done that. Minus a few mental health situations here and there, but everyone has that situation, and I do what's best for my children, and that's what galvanizes me more so, Don. Is that, I'm doing this because I love it. And yes, okay, I'm not going to lie. I'd love to do this full time. I'd love to stop having to put clothes and ornaments out on a shelf and do this properly and feel like, this is not just a job. This is fun. This is exciting. So every time you've got someone like yourself or Linton or Liam or, whoever comes on, that it's exciting, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to do it. Do you know what I mean? And that time will come, and what will be. But I got to say to Stuart, my co-host, it was him that put me on this path, because otherwise I'd just be another guy on Twitter that now and again would comment on someone's status, going, "Yeah, that was a good fight. Really enjoyed it. This guy did this better," and what have you. Because if it wasn't for Stuart, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you, and we wouldn't be talking.
Yeah, I know that feeling, bro. I've been there a couple times. Like I told you, I was with ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. I did a show with Chris Matthews from Hardball, and I got tired of being handed a 3x5 card and not knowing who was coming on the show and having to ask scripted questions. So I walked away from radio for a year and a half, and it took one of my sponsors to hit me up and say, "Hey, man, we really miss you on radio." And I said, "Nah, I'm not doing it no more." And he said, "Man, you're the only one that can tell the fighter stories right." And I said, "Man, you got me, bro." I said, "All right, let's do it." And I've been doing it again. I came back after a year and a half hiatus, and I've been doing it ever since. And the hard part about it was because now technology has made it to where we could be like this, but most people don't realize on the syndicated side, especially when you run your own network, because I was on iHeartRadio, Univision, Castbox, several FM transmitters, and then I was at a dual syndication in the Philippines, plus 5 RSS feeds worldwide. And I have to encrypt, embed, and blog, create the link. I had to do everything. So for a 2-hour show, it would take me 25 hours of worth of work. And, here I'm doing 3-4 shows a week. So you figure I'm putting 100 hours, 75 to 100 hours worth of work in to do 4 shows, 3-4 shows. And it was like, there's got to be a quicker way. And so finally I got it down. I mean, after years and years of doing it, I finally got it down to where I could create a show within like 40 minutes. But then you still got to put it out on social media.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then, so now it's like, now I got, same with editing, I've got everything down to a knack because I've done it for so long, but I feel sorry for these guys that have to do all their own stuff that, don't have corporate backing like me, that have to do all their own work, because it's not easy. And you really got to love what you do, because if you don't love what you do, then you're going to quit. I mean, you really are. I mean, thank God technology keeps advancing, because it's like, yeah, I love the syndicated side, but this way I get to see the emotion. You get to see the raw factors of the interview. And that's what encapsulates people. You know, the thing of it is, it's like, me and you, we talked about this when I had Matt Hughes on the first time right after his accident. It was all done through text. I hadn't talked to him physically, and he showed up in the virtual studio. And I heard his voice for the first time, and I was like, what am I going to do? And so I said, you know what? Just interview him like you would any other fighter. And people still attack me. So one thing you got to understand, no matter how great your show is, no matter how much success you have, there's always going to be those people that hate on you. And, you know, people will say, well, let your haters be your motivators. Well, after about 20, 25 years, it gets to be a little bit old. It gets to be bullshit, really.
Yeah.
And then when you get to, you know, being in the sport for 37 years, then you're just like, I really don't give two fucks, because I really don't. You know, it's like they're going to hate me no matter what. You know, no matter what I do. You know, they don't know how many people I've taught to shoot in the sport. They don't know how many shows that I've helped created and mentored. You know, because I don't tell people, you know, my business. I really, you know, I didn't even let my illness out really till this last year. And the only reason I did was because I had to, because you can't just be at the level that I'm at in the sport and then just walk away for a year and expect to come back and be at the same spot. I continue to do shows. Even back in July, at the end of June, beginning of July, when they did a revision on my amputation, I still sat right here 4 days after my surgery and did a show. You know, I could either lay in bed and feel sorry for myself, or I could sit up in the chair and be interested and share a fighter and have fun. So I've always worked through all my illnesses. When I had my back fused, I shot a fight 3 days later. You know, when I've had other multiple surgeries, and I just went right back to shooting. This sport is who I am. Without this sport, I won't be here. I won't. I'll be gone. You know, it's like I told you before. My wife said, go live your dream. And, you know, I never thought she was serious, because, like I said, I was making six figures in the late 80s. And I said, but, you know, my dream doesn't pay. But here I am 37 years later. I want to thank the sport. I own my own house. I own my own cars. I don't have a need or a want. I give back 80 to 85% of what I make to the sport, because I want to see the future, you know, succeed. I indulge myself with friends like you, mates like you, to help, you know, ensure that you're there for the future. And, you know, that's what life, like when Linton was on, we all need to eat at the same table. We all need to come together.
Yeah.
And, you know, because hate isn't doing anything for us. Hate is dividing us. You know, this last year, I've gotten some of the most love I've ever gotten out of the UK. And I got to tell you what, and I don't care if I piss an American off or not. I mean, this is how I really am. I'm straightforward. You ask anybody that knows me, but I get more love from the UK than I do the United States. You know, and it's just, we talked about this, and it's like American fighters, a lot of them, not every one of them, but a lot of them, they have egos. And, you know, then look at Colby Covington. I threw him off my show, but there's others that I've thrown off my show. But then you get like Linton, Liam, you get others, you know, from over the pond, and they're the most cordial, nice people in the world. And it's like, why can't the sport be the way in the United States? You know, it just, every foreigner that I've had on my show treated me eloquently. The other night I had the World Unified Muay Thai World Champion, Rami Zaiden Ibrahim.
Yeah.
The first American ever to win the unified title. You know, first Palestinian, first American, first one in the country to ever win that title. And he retired because his mother wanted him to. And he's Palestinian. So I got crap for that. So, I mean, you just got to do you, bro. You got to do you, and you got to create what you feel is the best path for you. And just let all the other go in one ear and out the other. Because what I saw when I was watching you with Linton, man, it was gold, mate. It was gold.
Thank you. I was nervous, Don. You know what I mean? Because you see, because I've done this show with Stuart, my co-host and my cousin. You know, I've done this from day dot with Stuart. I've only done maybe one episode without him, and it didn't go very well. because me and Stu have that sort of flow and the chemistry. You know, like how we've got now. It's hard to find that with people, that you can have the banter but be serious all in one go. Some people don't get what you say. Some people don't, you know, they can't maybe not find you funny, or you don't, you know. I actually think sometimes I wish Stuart disagreed with me with certain fights, but you know, I think Stuart looks at me like, you know, not the guru, but you know, when it comes to MMA, he goes off what I think. But I'd like to have someone go like, you know, if I go say, you know, Chimaev beasted Burns on the weekend, I'd like someone to go, no, he didn't, mate, and then go, this is the reason why. You know, but that, you know, that's what it is. Stuart, if I did that shoot with boxing, then Stuart would be shooting me down, like, you know, because he knows his boxing. I'm still learning my boxing sort of path. Like MMA is my life. MMA is something that, you know, I transitioned to from watching wrestling, because everyone did, you know, and then everyone that says to you that they didn't, they're a liar. That, you know, they'd watch WWF, WWE, and then they fell into UFC. That's how it happened to me. I fell into UFC through Tito and Liddell, the very first fight they had, and it was on a channel called Bravo, and it was pre-recorded, but it was weeks and weeks after the fight happened, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is this? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I've not seen this before. You know what I mean? Because UFC was trampled down by a lot of places and states, so you know, for it to get international would be very hard. So when it came over here, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why have I not seen this before? Why am I watching Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock fight when I can see these guys pummel each other out? But not just the fight itself, the storyline between Tito and Chuck was very wrestling orientated. You know, it pulled you in, and that's what pulled me in. And I never looked back. I maybe said goodbye to wrestling, but I grew up with watching UFC, and then everything else came into play, where I got Strikeforce, World Series of Fighting. Yes, okay, it's hard to find those in the UK, but you just have to look. But I fell in love with it, and it's a sport that I sit back and I love as much as my football club. And my football club's my first love, Don. But I love UFC, and I love MMA, Bellator, ONE FC, PFL. Yeah. I love them all. But I also love Cage Warriors, UCMMA, everything that you see Brits now coming through. And I couldn't be any more prouder than seeing UFC London and seeing all these kids come through. I'm blowing everyone out the water, because everyone seems to think UK fighters are just bangers. Well, they're not anymore. And as I said to Linton, we are not those guys anymore. Yeah. They're so well-rounded. And everything, I just feel so appreciated of having yourself as a guy that can mentor me and help me understand how to interview people, as well as Stuart, because Stuart does it himself. But galvanized me to be not nervous, because I wasn't really nervous when Linton showed up, because I spoke to you for a good hour before it. But I spoke to him like I've known him for years, like with Lee Mcguire, when me and Stuart have had Lee Mcguire on. I just spoke to him like this is a guy that I've known for years, who lived down the street. That I went, all right, mate, how you doing? You know, and then you have this conversation. I'm so happy that I've had this push by Stuart, yourself, and everybody else that have really given me the positivity and the confidence to do this. Because normally I wouldn't sit in front of a camera and having all these people watching me, you know, and judging me. I would never normally do it, because I just wouldn't put myself in front of that. Where, you know, 12 months on, I couldn't give a shit what people say about me. I couldn't give a shit if someone said to me, what you said was wrong, what you picked was wrong. I don't give a shit. My opinions are my opinions. At the end of the day, my opinions are what matters to me. If someone says to me, you got that fight wrong, my answer would be, well, what did I say? What was wrong? What can you tell me was different? In a polite way, give me a debate. Give me something that you think that's different, and then we can have a conversation.
Yeah, well, I've been on that route, and that's a good route to go. I mean, but I've done radio so long, I always tell people, if you don't like my show, don't fucking watch it. I'm not asking you to watch it. You fucking chose to watch it.
Yes.
But see, I've been around since the dawn of time, so it's like I have that capability of doing that. And I mean, and I mean, like Mayhem Miller, I put him on in a spot on my show. Did he like it? No, but he stayed. I mean, and the thing of it is, I'm not going to put up with no wanker on my show. I'm just not going to do that. You're not going to come on my show and lie. You're not going to come on my show and tear down somebody. And I think that's really what had a lot of people look at me differently because, you know, of me throwing fighters off the show. I really don't care. You're no different than me. You know, you have a different job. And so you're going to respect me the same. I'll respect you because you're a fighter, but respect me because of what I do. But just because we're on a show doesn't make you better than me. And, you know, I threw the egos out the window a long time ago because it's like, I don't give a crap. I'll just throw you off the show. I don't care. You know, I mean, it's not like I'm hurting for guests. I got a guest list, probably 1,000 guests in that want to come on the show. It's just that I've been, you know, to your listeners and people who are watching, because I shared this on my pages too. But, you know, I'm sick. I've been sick, you know, for quite a while. And the thing of it is, it's like, am I on point? But no, but, you know, it's like, we just talked about Rami. I did that show. I shouldn't have did that show. But I re-interviewed Virgil Hill from boxing, Quicksilver. And the reason I did that show the week before was because most people don't know, a year prior, I was sitting right here in the same spot and I had a heart attack and didn't even know it. And I was interviewing Virgil Hill while I was having a heart attack. And so, you know, I went to sleep. They put me to sleep for 2.5 weeks after that. And it's crazy. So make a long story short, things started coming back up in my my memories. So I hit Virgil Hill up and I said, hey, bro, I need to give you a better show. And he's like, what are you talking about, Don? You always give me a great show. I said, nah, man. I said, I had a heart attack the last time you were on my show. I just didn't tell you.
That's fucking crazy.
And so he said, well, let's run it back Sunday. So we ran it back Sunday and we had a tremendous interview. But it's going to take me a week or two to get back on point. I mean, my voice is trashed right now. I'm not feeling the greatest in the world. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, Linton got on today. And yeah, I did chew his behind out, but yeah, you know, but I told you it would all work out great, man.
No, you know, I know it did. Of course it did. Of course it did.
But you did a hell of an interview with him, bro. I mean, but he didn't want me to take my shirt off because I'd have took my shirt off. He'd have looked like a wimp, bro.
That means I'd have to take mine off then, but then we'd have to go for a full circle.
No,
you know what I mean?
We're good. We're good. I mean, well, I'm glad you got your opportunity, bro.
No, I'm glad that you've opened the door for me. You know what I mean? You're the guy.
No, you opened the door. You opened the door by encapsulating my thoughts watching your show. And I reached out to you and your cousin, and we had conversations, and I offered you guys a guest. And I mean, let's be real about it. The truth of it is you earned the right to have Linton on your show today. I didn't do anything for you. All I did was just call a brother up and say, hey, there's this great show in the UK. I would love for you to be on it. And he said, let's do it. I mean, so really, I did nothing but make a phone call. You did the interview, bro.
And you know what the funny thing is? I didn't write any notes. I watched a lot of stuff today in between watching football, soccer for you.
I told you.
But I didn't write any notes. I went off my knowledge.
And your heart.
Yeah, and listening to, obviously, your prior podcast. And obviously, yeah, I did listen to a lot of different things. So people have spoke to him recently to the build-up of his fight. But I didn't want to be generic. I didn't want to ask generic questions. Yes, okay, asking him about Tim Johnson fight is going to be generic because it is what it is, because it's next week. You know what I mean? I wish I had a bit longer with him where I could ask him about his family life and, you know, move the process of moving from Milton Keynes to South Florida. But, you know, I feel like, you know, we've got a good rapport there where I can ask him to come back on again, and me and Stuart can sort of surgically open up those sort of conversations with him in it, you know, after he's had a fight with Tim Johnson.
Oh yeah, you could have him back on next week. He would come back on in a heartbeat. He thoroughly enjoyed your show. You know, that I could tell. You know, I've seen Linton on many other shows, and you had him smiling. You had him in a good mood. A lot of times, you know, it's like he just wants to hurry up and dip out. Like I told you, I don't let a fighter dip. That's why I said, you know, let us ask you 2 or 3 more questions.
Yeah.
You know, but I already told you from the beginning it was going to be longer than 20 minutes. You know, and it's like, by the time it was said and done, I think it was a 40-minute show. So, I mean, You don't ever listen to what fighters tell you. They'll tell you, "Oh, I give you 15 minutes." Hell, I've had fighters say,
"That's my fault." That's my fault, though. You said to me on the phone when I said you went, "No, you should have done that." But I'm like, I feel like it's naivety for myself, but at the same time, I'm very appreciative of these guys coming on the show because me and Stuart tries so hard to get, we don't want to just break down fights. We want to speak to people. So I feel like my naivety there was like, yeah, I don't care. 10 minutes is fine because I'm thankful that you're coming on.
Well, see, the thing of it is, you watch my show. I don't even. My shows have a touch of fights. I mean, I very little bit about fighting.